Well, the first thing that comes to mind for me, though, is how the gender of my own therapists has affected me, which contradicts what I said in the book, but I'll circle back to it. But I, for instance, chose a male therapist as my first Gestalt therapist, in part because I was worried that a female therapist would have her own ideas about what a woman is supposed to be like, and that she would try to change me to be the kind of woman she thinks I ought to be. Mm-hmm. And that was a dread that I had. And I felt safer seeing a male therapist, because somehow I thought they wouldn't try to change how I am as a woman. And then so my therapist was Gary Antal for many, many years. And then at another point, I decided to get some psychoanalysis from a female therapist because I'd read something she had written, and she focused on emotional process like a Gestalt therapist would. So I thought that would be good. And I really, really, really benefited from it. And she didn't try to impose her notions of what a woman is on me, right? So I've, in a way, I've really, I think, benefited by working with therapists of different gender. But I've seen in my own practice and heard from many other therapists that that overall, what has mattered is the therapist's capacity to, at one moment, be very gendered in a way that matches how their body is. Because in that moment in time, the patient wants to relate to that kind of person. But at another moment, be able to identify, like I'm marked as female, so identify more as male and allow the patient to relate to me more as male. And at another moment, relate to me as a kind of non-binary person altogether, that the therapist needs flexibility to access ways of owning all the ways we tend to gender people, and allow that to be part of how we meet our patients at different times. And I found that with the three major therapists in my life have all been able to do that. And some of what was very powerful about Gary, for instance, was his ability to not be stereotypically masculine when I wasn't looking for that. You know, his fluidity that way. That allowed me to be braver about choosing a female therapist, assuming, hey, maybe she can do the same, which she did. So.